Good Saturday morning, everybody. It is book club morning. It is week 5, and we are concluding this week. This is the final week. I'm very excited. We're doing chapters 6 and chapter 7. Chapter 6 kind of goes through all the chapters and puts it all together for us so that we create our momentum. And then in chapter 7, we talk about changing our trajectory by using all of those things together. So I'm really excited. I always find it interesting when I read my own stuff. I'm like, wow, it's really good. Well, it's funny because I wrote it almost 2 years. Well, I did. I wrote it 2 years ago. It was published a year and a half ago. And I've learned so much from them. But again, I share with you that I came up with R&R on Sundays, reflection and reminders, because just because we know it doesn't mean we do it. So a lot of times my girlfriend, I wish she was on this, but she'll be here for the 20th anniversary. She's flying in from LA, and my best friend, Wendy, always reminds me by saying, hey, have you read this book? You can do hard things, because I'll talk to her about something and she'll be like, she's one of my biggest fans. I know that a lot of you on here are my big supporters and huge fans, and I appreciate that so, so much, because it means the world to me. We need people in our life who encourage us. And that's why Ben actually is on here, and he deemed me the CEO, the Chief Encouragement Officer. And that was in our GSD community that we started in. And it's stuck because I learned what encouragement is. I didn't really have it growing up. I didn't have somebody tell me, yes, you can do this. Go out there and find and live your dreams, right? Dream all the things you want and then go get them, right? Nobody ever told me that while I was growing up. I did have people who loved me unconditionally. My grandma, my grandpa, my mom. She wasn't a huge figure in my life. She didn't do a lot of the things that I'm doing. It's crazy because when she read my book, I asked her, I said, Mom, did you read my book? And I dedicated it to my family, my kids. And it's funny because in the beginning of the book, in the acknowledgments, even though my mom and I didn't have a really good relationship growing up, like a mom-daughter relationship, we didn't have that. She is one of my biggest fans today. She supports me, shows up for everything. And it's really been a cool, full circle relationship, because as a kid growing up, that's all you want is your mom to say, I love you and I support you and I want you to go out there and live your dreams. And I didn't get that. It's weird kind of saying it, but it's part of the process for me and how I became this person, right? I didn't have that growing up, but I was going through a 90-minute timeline yesterday with somebody who's going to help me do some social media. And he was asking me all these questions. And I was like, dude, I haven't thought about this in years. Like, what did it feel like? And why did you do this? And what was your reaction to this? And I was like, I don't really want to do this. But he was trying to figure out who I am and how I got to be this way. And a lot of us don't do that. But it's really, really important, because in this chapter, this is momentum. And again, we kind of revert back. If you didn't do the work for chapter 1, and be honest, just tell me, did you do the work in chapter 1? Did you say what you want? You did. Did you? Julie did. Come on, be honest. Okay, so it's really important. Good morning, Andrea. I never see your hair down. Look at her. It is really important, because if you don't ask yourself the hard questions, you're not going to find the answers. You're going to look for somebody else to give them to you. And that's not the point of this. The point of this whole journey, the point of doing better and being better, is figuring out who you are and what you want. One of my signature talks is about knowing who you are. Who before what? Who are you on the inside before what are you as a product of what you are on the inside? What are you? I'm a mom of 3. I'm a restaurant owner. I'm an author. But who am I on the inside, right? So all of these things together in the book help you find those things out. When I ask you questions at the end of even this last chapter, at the end of chapter 5, and we're really going through and we say, what's the biggest changes you saw in your life this week because of the consistency that you had? Like, those are fact-finding questions about yourself. A lot of people don't take the time to actually ask themselves, because the whole point of this journey is to figure you out so that you can be the best version of you and create those things to change your trajectory, right? So I'm really passionate. I hope I don't cry on this thing. I was reading this and it's really, really powerful. I told you, I surprise myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, wow. Because I really wrote the book. Nobody wrote it for me. I didn't have a ghostwriter. I wrote this. And, you feel things at different times in your life and you have different perspective. And so it turns out differently, right? When you change what you think, it changes how you think. But you get that way by perspective, the things that you're doing in your life, the people you have in your life, and the experiences that you have in your life. So acknowledging these things and really asking yourself these hard questions comes in a way that is learning you. You just learn a little bit more about yourself every time. So, chapter 6. First of all, again, does anybody want to share how they were consistent last week? Lorraine, you can say yours if you want. I don't know if everybody saw it in the Facebook group. She's going to do it.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning. I know, yay, 7:30. We're still doing it. I didn't even need a text this morning.
I'm so proud of you. And just case in point, it's consistency. You've done it for 5 weeks. So why did you do it so easily this morning?
Well, I've been working on waking up a lot earlier and just going to bed earlier. So like my natural, I woke up before the alarm and it was like 6:30 and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just going to relax here for a minute and, keep my eyes open, hug my boy, snuggle the boy. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to get up. And I made my tea. I show up with my tea.
Yeah, I have tea too. That's awesome. So again, case in point, it works. 5 weeks, getting up early, no reminder today, right? She did it on her own. So it's great. Small wins. If you haven't acknowledged that, you really should, because it's big. Right? You've struggled with it for a while.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm starting now too at 5:30 in the morning.
You're getting up at 5:30?
3 days a week. No, I'm getting up at 4:45.
Oh, 4:45. That's awesome. And then what are you doing?
I don't even know who I am.
That's the best. I'm going to use that. You know who I am.
So I'm working on the consistency with those things. 4:45 is a hard one. But I was saying that I was most consistent with my affirmations and saying them, and that I almost look forward to them now. And it's like, if the alarm goes off to tell me, because I don't remember to do those by myself. I actually have the alarm that goes off and it's like, hey, it's time. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, thank God, I really need this right now. And
see?
Yeah.
It really makes me happy. It really does.
I got this really good one that someone helped me build.
Let's hear it.
It's you.
I know, but let's hear it. I liked the affirmations. I love affirmations.
It's I left my phone behind so that I could focus here.
It's okay.
Screenshot. But you want me to just go get it real quick?
Sure.
I don't have it memorized. It's really long. Hold on.
Oh, it's really long. Who else is using their affirmations? Yes? David, you keep doing that. He's all, I don't want to tell you no. So I'm going to do this. Just going to keep his lips shut. Use your alarm. That's what Lorraine is doing. I know Ben does it because he's the one who taught us how to do that. Anybody else use the alarm? No.
I don't use the alarm.
It's a good trick. It's a good trick.
I just schedule it. so
like on your planner?
I'll just because I'll have my Google Calendar open and I'll get like an alert. So the alarm necessarily, but like since it's scheduled, I know at this time that I'm gonna, just have that little 5-minute pause to kind of transition in anything. So it's kind of pretty cool to just once it's scheduled, it gets done basically.
I like that too, the 5-minute pause to transition. You can tell us about that later. Yeah. You got it, Lorraine?
Pause. Okay, I'm continuously working towards my best life, the best version of myself, my mind, body, and spirit, and I am therefore and support myself.
Good for you. I'm therefore and support myself. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal, especially if you don't have, somebody to push you and that's in your corner. I'm there and support myself. You have everything you need inside of you, you guys. Everything you need is inside of you. Everything. We just have to learn to access it. Cheryl in the chat, she's driving, but she said that she's getting up every morning at 5:30. So she's being consistent with that. So that's awesome. I know that we're all doing the consistency. I wanted to share mine, and that is that I'm getting up earlier because we talked about me and my movement. And so I'm not quantifying it with X amount of miles or anything like that. I'm just saying, get up and move. And the more I move and I'm consistent just every day, sometimes on the treadmill, sometimes I'm out walking, sometimes I'm doing a stretch and some weights. I put them in my room now. So I don't have to go to the garage. They're like right there. And so even if I do 10 or 12 minutes just to get my body moving, jumping jacks, I do this crazy wall thing for my crunchies. It's good though. It all happens so I'm moving my body. So I was consistent with that and I didn't share it in the group, but I will. So I think that those are all amazing things that we're doing. Consistency is huge. And we talk about that more in chapter 6. So chapter 6 my quote is, I believe when you are in doubt, you should take an action. And I learned this from Coach Bert, because if we don't take an action, we're telling ourselves something, okay? We're telling ourselves that it's okay. We're using that non-action basically as an action. Does that make sense? Just like when you don't make a decision, you're really making a decision, right? So this chapter, I believe you are powerful beyond your belief. And when you realize this, you'll truly soar. Again, you have everything you need inside of you. Everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time, people. Everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Grant Cardone, Elon Musk, Mel Robbins, anybody that you aspire to, right? Anybody that you look up to that you think, oh my God, I don't know how they do it. They do it just like you. They get up in the morning. They put their pants on one leg at a time. And one of the things that the action helps you do is to keep going. It doesn't matter how sloppy it is at first, right? Doesn't matter how sloppy it is. Lorraine, if she gets up at 4:46, if she gets up at 4:50, she's still getting up and doing the action that's getting her to now today, which is she woke up before her alarm, right? You're putting in the work. In the beginning, it doesn't have to be perfect. It never has to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Oh, our buddy Brian's coming on. Yay. So when we put all of the steps together, when we're putting our wants, when we keep that as our forefront, right? When we're focusing on what we want, we're doing our goals, we're doing our morning routine, we're having the courage to change, we're using our affirmations, we're changing our whole mindset from what used to be to what we're doing now. We're doing those things in a consistent manner. which is helping us change our thought process, which is helping us change our patterns, right? Those are the things that we need to do. Now, the decision, right, to make these changes hopefully has already come with the chapters in the book, and you deciding and you telling yourself what you want, and you creating your morning routine and your affirmations, and you consistently doing them, right? With all 4 of those things consistently happening, this is when you really start to change, because as you do those things, it creates the momentum. And what that means is, again, Loran, this morning, no alarm, right? Some things for me in business, like when I make decisions on, let's just take yesterday, for example. I had a teenager from high school doing a senior project. So I have to schedule 30 hours with this senior to mentor them, to tell them how to run a business. Now, he came in and he was very just, I don't know when we started this project. And I kept asking him questions. Okay, well, you're going to have to research it. I'm here for you, but I'm not here to do the work for you, right? Same thing. It's the same thing. So we talked about it a couple of times. I made him do an outline. I said, listen, you need to give me the 3 key points in which you want to learn. There's a lot we could talk about. I mean, I could talk for hours. So what are 3 things that you want to do, right? Then when we did that, that was a decision that he had to make, right? And I had to make the decision in order for him to get pushed, right? Because he's a kid and he's like, I don't know what to do. And I have to do this project. I'm like, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you really want to do and what you want to learn. So when he came in yesterday, one of his 3 topics was advertising and marketing. Well, he didn't even know the difference between advertising and marketing. So when he left yesterday, he had those 2 definitions and he knew the difference. The other thing is this is the decision part. There was a gentleman that came in and he was selling ad space and it was for me, right? So he walks in and he said, he's standing at the bar and he says, hey, I used to know the old owner. My name's Kenny, blah, blah, blah. And I'm listening because I'm sitting at the table. And the server was like, oh yeah. And he goes, who's the new owner? Is she here? And she's like, yeah, she's here. I look at her and I'm like, are you going to go get her? She's in the kitchen. Because it was me. And I really didn't have the time to talk to him because I had the senior with me, right? And we're doing this project. But then he was like, oh, I'm selling ad space. And I was like, okay, great. He goes, it's all I need is 15 minutes. I said, you got 15 minutes right now? He said, yeah. I said, great. Sit down. This is great. This is going to be a great learning experience for you. So the senior's sitting there with me and we're going through the whole thing. And here's the quick decision process, right? 2 things. 1, I gave the senior the opportunity. He could learn from me, but this is real life on the spot. This guy walks in, wants to sell me ad space on register tape in grocery stores. So he gives me the whole spiel and I was intrigued because it was a good price point. So we went through all of the things. And at the end, I have a decision to make. Do I want to pull the trigger and get this ad space or not? Right? Me, I know how I work. Best thing for me is to make a decision right now. So I had 2 choices. I could have said, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Even with the meeting, I could have said, schedule a meeting and I'll get back to you. But I know how I am. My plate gets very full. I would have pushed him off. I would have pushed him off. I would have pushed him off. I would have lost the opportunity, right? So because I was doing this with the senior, excuse me, because I was doing this with the senior, I wanted to give him that experience. And then it gave me the opportunity. So I took advantage. I did it right there on the spot. I not only got a single ad, I got a double ad. So Julie or Andrea or Loran, if you guys go to the Lucky on the Hill on Bicentennial, you're going to see my home run pizza ad now because I'm going to be giving, I know, I put it on the back of the register tape. Does anybody ever look at those? Nod your head. Yes. 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 I want to hear yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, this is what I told Bradley.
It's
And
funny
this
that
is
There's some good stuff on this.
Yeah. And that's what he said. He said the amount of impressions that you get from the register tape is far beyond any advertising. Everybody goes to the grocery store. So anyway, I committed for a year. It's a minimal fee. It's like $275 a month, which is nothing for ad space, nothing. And so he guaranteed me that I would get, 10 or something like that a month. And so I was just looking at advertising. And so I pulled the trigger. I made the decision. So here's the other thing. The momentum that I created, not only for me, but for the salesman and Bradley, right? I created by saying yes, right? I created a win for the salesperson, right? He created his momentum. He's like, okay, bring me to the next one. Then with Bradley, who's the senior, it was so funny because I could see the change in him. I told him at the beginning of the meeting, and I introduced him to the salesman, and I said, this is perfect timing. And I told him, I said, this is really why you got the meeting, is because you're going to be a really good example of advertising for, his project. So he really gets a hands-on real life example. And that's what life is, right? We could talk about it. We could think about it. We could procrastinate about it. But until you actually do it, you're not going to create the momentum. And that's part of the whole process in the book. You could think about it, you could read about it, but until you actually do the things in the book and the chapter and make it a part of your life, case in point, the affirmations, the commitment to showing up for 5 weeks. You guys are amazing for showing up for 5 weeks. 2 weeks is good. 3 weeks is better. 4 weeks is great. 5 weeks is phenomenal. 5 weeks committing to 7:30 in the morning, right? Learning, being open to receiving new insight, new thoughts, new ways of thinking. This is big. Like even for me, committing to 5 weeks and really going through the book helped me learn. Osbert and I had a great one-on-one, and I appreciate your encouragement. And he has supported me all through our journey. We started at the same time, David, you as well, but he gave me some really cool props and things that I wouldn't have necessarily seen for myself because I hadn't had this experience. This is my first book club, right? This is the first time I'm able to sit down and really go through all of my thoughts, all of the things that I have learned, and even since the things that I have learned that I haven't put in the book. So you guys are learning as I grow, right? Which I think is really cool. So that's momentum. The things it took, right, to do this before, I looked through this chapter and I underlined some things. And one of them is feelings. Everybody has feelings, and we use those feelings as a guide when we shouldn't. Action is far more important than feelings. You can feel like doing it. You can feel like not doing it one day, and the next day you can feel the opposite. Here comes Allie Beth. The difference is the game changer. You don't use your feelings to act. You act to create the good feelings, right? Lorianne, how do you feel about getting up 5 weeks in a row? How do you feel about you getting up at 4:45 in the morning? Be honest, good or bad. Tell us how you feel.
It's not the same every time.
See, and that's perfect case in point. It's not the same every time. So don't let that guide you, because one day you could say yes and one day you could say no. So what's the pros and cons?
This reminds me, like I feel like I'm listening to Mel Robbins right now with the whole, it's like
a great compliment. Thank you.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. Take it. I was like, oh, she's the best at telling you to just get up and do it. Of course, sometimes you don't feel like it, but do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
When you get to the point where you say, excuse my French, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. That is the growth. That is the difference That's the in between. That is the growth process. From I'm feeling like I don't want to do it, or I'm feeling like I want to do it, to I don't care how I feel, I'm going to do it anyway. And it's a crazy process. Morning, sweetie. It is a crazy process. But honestly, Loran, I'm not going to call it the feeling, but the accomplishment. When you have the accomplishment, what does that do for you?
Well, it makes me feel like I'm not fighting myself anymore. It makes me feel like I've accomplished something. It makes me feel like I'm actually continuously getting better, not starting over again. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things coming into play right now with all the work we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more excited. Like I'm more excited about these things now. Like I was excited to wake up at 7:30 because I like what happens when we're done. You know, I mean at 7. You know, I'm excited to go swimming in the morning because I know that like it. You know, my day starts at 5. Well, I'm like showered and dressed by 7. You know, because I started everything else so early, and it's nice to not feel like, wow, where'd the day go already? You know, I don't have those feelings when I do that.
I'm going to call it confidence.
Yes, I think that would be accurate.
So you are building your confidence. You are creating that consistency to say, yes, I can, right? And then the accomplishment you have, and think of how much time you're gaining, right? I hate wasting time. It's one of my absolute pet peeves. When I'm sitting and I'm not focused and I'm over here and I'm over here and I'm over here, I'm like, what am I doing? It's like, for me, it's a huge pet peeve because there's always something I can be doing. There's always like, not busyness wise, but like intentional wise. So part of the grit model that we talked about, right? Gratitude routine. So you're doing your routine, you're being intentional and you're giving it time. So you're really building your grit. Your consistency and your confidence comes from that, and that equals mental toughness. It is an amazing process, you guys, and the momentum that you're creating will keep you consistent. The consistency then builds your discipline. You won't care how you feel, you'll do it anyway. And that's where we're at with all of the steps in the process. Now, the trick is, right? You feel the accomplishment, don't let up. And this is sometimes where we go tilt, because we think we're doing a good job and we're going, okay. And if I could, Julie, we talked last night and she gave the example, you know, life takes over. Like she was giving me an example of something that she was doing and she was happy about it. And then all of a sudden she was like, I just stopped doing it. And I said, that's just what happens because life takes over. Instead of being proactive, you're being reactive, right? And the whole point of this process is to be proactive with your growth and not reactive with your life, and letting your life kind of take over. You're getting in front of it. And again, Loran, you're doing a great job. Osbert's doing a great job his last 3 months. We can call it 3 months now because it's March. You know, Andrea, I want to give her some props. She's sitting in her new house. Yes. I'll let you share about that in a little bit, because it's a process. It's a process to really change your thoughts. So Loran, by you doing this work, it really is continuation of your growth. I mean, that's what's happening. You're growing, which is great. So I get a little stuck in that because I like it so much. So when you realize what you're doing, right, by not getting up, and Julie by saying, oh my gosh, I realized that I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. When you're not doing what you want to do, or you get to that sticky point, you get a little stuck and you're like, why? So the self-awareness comes when you realize it. Okay. When you learn what you're doing, you go back to the tools because you've learned them. So you catch it quicker. That's part of the momentum, right? You catch it quicker. You're like, oh man, I didn't mean to do that. Oh no, I really want to do my morning routine. I really want to get back to my affirmations. I need to give it the time, right? So catching your stuff on the inside, knowing how you tick is a huge win, because then you can course correct and you feel yourself doing it, or you see yourself doing it, and you know, okay, nope, I'm not going to start that old habit. I'm going to continue with this habit. And you really just got to push yourself. So the momentum, again, is part of the good feelings, not the insecure feelings, not the going with your, oh, this is how I feel right this moment, being warm and cozy in bed and, not getting up, or me being scattered and just looking at all of the things, that I have to do, and not actually being intentional and focusing on what my calendar says and doing it. Having those self-awareness moments and doing that really is what will create your momentum. So your feelings really aren't as important as you're giving them credit for. The end result is way more important than how you're feeling. So don't get stuck in the feelings. And that's, again, where the self-awareness comes in. Wins are super important. Bert said, I love hearing the wins. If you guys don't do that regularly, the reflection journal has the wins. Julie and I talked about the new consistency maker that's coming out, and almost all of you get it. Everybody who did 5 full weeks will get the free gift of the consistency maker, which I'm very, very proud of. So, the feelings that you have, again, don't let them be your guide. Okay. Don't let them be your guide. It's the end result, what is really your driving force. That's what you want to drive you. And that's where the momentum sits. Okay. So the things that we thought were hard aren't so hard, right? You're getting up at 4:45, Loran. You're doing your affirmations. Andrea has totally flipped her mindset. Allie Beth, I saw your consistency. We talked about it earlier this morning. You getting up and going to the gym. She's doing great. Cheryl talked about getting up at 5:30. David, we're working on his. Although I know you have a win because I asked him to do something and he did it. I'm going to ask you at the end of the call if you took action on it, right? I'm going to ask you. So just so you know, that's coming. So I'm going to just read this little part in the book because I think this is really, really important. And when all of the things are working together, right? This is when the magic happens. You begin to do more and you see more, right? You're seeing what you're doing. Your goals get bigger, and the things you once thought were hard become simple. Instead of being focused on the past or what seems to continually be going wrong, we are now focused on what's coming next. You're not thinking about who you used to be. You're not thinking about your old habits. You're continually using the tools that you learned to create your momentum and keep moving forward. We're not looking back, right? We don't get caught up in the what ifs, but rather we spend our time in the present and look at all of the positive things that we are working in our favor. Count your wins every single day. If you don't do it, start doing it. The amazing concept that I learned through all of this is you can change your trajectory. I can change my trajectory. Who I was now 3 years ago is nowhere near the person I am today. And it came from committing to myself and doing the hard things that used to be hard, but aren't that hard anymore, right? You guys look at me and I hope I'm the shining example of, yes, I can. Yes, I can, because absolutely any one of you can do anything you set your mind to, anything. So at the end of chapter 6, 4, 8, 11. So at the end of chapter 6, we talk about, oh wait, I'm sorry. I wanted to touch on one more thing in chapter 6, because it's really important. Sometimes we feel like we're doing it alone, and you absolutely are the only one who can do it for you. But in those times when you have your hiccups, in those times where you struggle, you need someone to help you. I'm here for you. Now that we've all been on this group for 5 weeks, and we know, especially the ladies who are close, use this group. I'm down. I own a restaurant. We could have a, I don't want to say weekly, I'm going to say bi-weekly. Maybe we can have a monthly actual get together where we talk about our wins, look at your consistency. How are we moving forward? We can totally do that. It would be really actually beneficial for all of us, because part of what I've learned in this process is community is huge. If you don't have somebody to encourage you and help you, sometimes we can't see it going forward. So I can see it for you. Maybe somebody else has an example that you see and resonate more with than mine. And you can say, okay, thank you for that. I really need, look, Osbert put his thing in there. So that's great. Anybody wants to connect with Osbert? He's wise beyond his years also, you know. Don't let the not gray hair fool you. Ben, that was for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry. So I just want to make sure that no matter if you use our group, you affirmations and positive mindset, use it. Put things in there, ask people questions. You can always use the one-on-one with me. I tell you all of the time, take advantage of it, because where I'm at in my journey and the things that I have learned, books I've read, people I've met, places I've been, is absolutely what changed my life. So if you want somebody as a sounding board, hard conversations are my specialty. Right, David? Osbert? We've had a few. Ben, of course. Was waiting for him to chime in. Okay.
Of course I'm going to chime in. Are you kidding me?
Hard conversations are my specialty.
Oh, I love them. I love the conversations, especially when I get that kick in the ass that I need.
I did. What did you do? Think about it. I want to hear after, because you're driving, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it at the end because I want to hear. Okay. Last point in this particular chapter. When you really start to commit to you and focus on all of these things in this book, this is where you really change. After answering the questions, everything else boils down to the consistency of your routine. If you answer the questions and you do all of this work, everything else boils down to the consistency of your routine, and write this down, and your willingness. Okay, you have to want to do it. Your willingness to constantly be intentional about your calendar and what you put on it. It is absolutely crucial that you guide and you create your day. You plan what you put on your plate, because if you let circumstances and life drive you, you'll get stuck in the weeds. You'll get back to where you were. If you get in front of it and you plan your day, that is where you have the control and are creating your consistency. Okay. So that's huge. So just take the action. That is the biggest trick. Don't say I'm going to, don't say I'll try, don't say tomorrow, do it now. Take the action, because that's going to get you out of that feelings, out of that mindset of maybe tomorrow, out of that mindset of, oh man, I didn't do it again. This is part of just taking the action, and it will help you create your momentum. So just quickly, with everything that we've just talked about, somebody give me an action that they're going to do today. I'm not going to call on anybody. I'm going to let you do it. You decide. Somebody give me an action that you're going to do today.
Well, I have a new job and I'm ready to quit my new job to get me a better job. So I'm going to an interview today. Somebody's going to take me to one of their network people. So I really want to kill this interview.
Yes.
Do it very well, because I don't want to work at Wendy's. I took Wendy's because, I need some money quickly, but that's not where I want to be.
Wendy's, like the fast food Wendy's?
Yes, like fast food Wendy's.
Oh.
So I have an interview today and with one of my friends, so to be their personal assistant. So that would be fantastic if I could have a part-time job being a personal assistant instead of working at part-time Wendy's.
Yes.
So I'm very optimistic and positive about it. And wish me all, pray for me. Not
oh
love,
my gosh,
just pray
yes. Do you have an affirmation that you're saying?
No, but I said this morning, I'll greet this day with love in my heart and I will succeed. So I hope that gave me the thing I need for today, because today I also work at Wendy's and I'm feeling like, oh my God, going to Wendy's, even though, I don't hate it, but, I'm vegan too. So that whole smell of all that kind of stuff, it's like, oh, okay. It's not that bad, but it's not the vibe. I never have ever worked in a fast food, which is a good experience to have, So I'm not complaining about it, but I definitely want a better job.
So I'm just going to ask you, be completely honest. You took the job. Why?
I needed money like now.
So did you quit your full-time job?
Oh, no. I still got my full-time job. I got a second time. I got part-time, but I got my full-time. But I needed extra money because I need a car. Like by tomorrow. That's it.
Girl.
That's the reason why I'm like having another job. Because I need a car. And honestly, I'm finding it hard to save money.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I got to make more money instead, because saving is taking so long. And I'm like, I kind of lost, like, I don't want to say I fully lost my patience, but I definitely want to cut certain things, and it's not helping to not have a car.
I gotcha.
Look at this. I already have one white hair. Okay, I'm turning 26 next month. And I got one more hair. Hey.
Oh my God. I love her. Okay. So we'll talk about that after, but you're going to kill the interview. Remember these two things. Okay. Sometimes we take things out of necessity, right? Have to do it for a certain reason. It's not where she wants to be, right? Embody who you want to be. Get in the interview and say, I want to be your personal assistant because I can help you do X, Y, and Z, right? Save her time, be consistent, and you have the best positive attitude that I know. You have the best smile. And, I don't know what kind of personal assistant she is, if she's like a busy mom or something, but truly, you're going to kill it. What time is the interview?
It's at 12, so I'm going to be picked up soon.
Okay.
It is 11:21 in the East Coast, so I'm getting ready for it now.
Okay. I want everybody to wish Allie Beth the best luck. Give her a line of confidence. I want to hear from everybody. Allie Beth, here's mine, okay? You are a strong, independent, driven woman with an amazing attitude, and you are going to kill it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Somebody else, give her a good line. Give her some encouragement.
Allie Beth, just go in and just be you. Like, because transparency is the highest frequency, like authenticity is the highest frequency a person can emit. So if you just go in there, and since you're a servant leader and you got such a good heart, once they see that, the interview's done. And so
nice.
Oh, thank you, Oscar.
Yeah, Allie Beth, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna win them over. Like she was saying, your smile, you really seem like you have it together, and that is going to exude, and they're gonna be like, I want this person to help me. I need this person's help. And you're gonna kill it. So go in there. Head up.
You're gonna go and kill it.
Yeah. You got this.
Thank you.
Allie Beth, you do got this. Put it out in the universe. The universe has your back always. Trust me on that. Seeing it firsthand.
Yeah.
But yeah, just put it out there. It's yours. Not you want it. Not, oh, I hope this works. It's yours. It's mine. I am.
It's mine.
This is mine. This is what I'm doing. See it, believe it. It's yours, girl.
Yes, it is.
Yay.
That's
Thank
what I
you for
was gonna
showing up.
say.
I'm glad we got to help you. I'm glad you got to share that with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. In case we don't get to say goodbye.
I think Julie had one more. I feel like Julie was gonna say something.
Were you gonna say what?
I was. Allie Beth, you have this. You've already got the job. Your personality is the perfect personal assistant. Go in there knowing you have the job and you will walk out with it for sure. Good luck.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna head out. They here.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
You
Text
got
me
this,
later.
Allie Beth.
Text
I'm
me
I
later.
think was gonna
stop.
say something. Maybe
Mwah.
you were gonna say something before I head out.
Allie Beth, you got this.
Thank you.
Allie Beth, you can do it. I've known you for 2 years. You've been a really strong lady, and I know you can do it.
Thank you all. I love you
Good
all.
luck.
I'm gonna head out now. Let me run.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Text you
people.
later.
Bye-bye.
Such a love. She's gonna get it. I'm so excited. Okay. So at the back of this chapter, and it's so funny because just like all of you just said, make it yours. You've already got it, right? You all just basically said that in one way or another. The same goes for you. You're encouraging somebody else. There's also a thing as self-encouragement. Say those things to yourself when you need it. It will help you create your momentum, okay? So at the back of chapter 6, I asked, on average, how quickly do you make decisions? Do you feel confident in yourself to make sound decisions? These are really important questions because decision-making process is crucial. I mean, it really is. Case in point with the meeting with the ad guy and Allie Beth, 1, making a decision to work at Wendy's, and 2, making the decision, I don't want to work at Wendy's. You know what I mean? Some people would just keep it and say, oh, well, it's getting me money. But she's like, no, I don't really want to work at Wendy's. I want something different, something better, right? A lot of times we just do something because it's what we've got or what we can, but always be proactive and get to that next step. Always think about where you're going, who you want to become, and that helps you with the decision-making process. If we get out of the right now, and this is for today kind of thinking, you want to be proactive. You want to go out and get in front and who you want to be and where you're going. Okay. So this is the final chapter, chapter 7. This is this is the fulfillment for me. This is the end result. This is the fact that my heart bursts with joy when somebody tells me that they're doing something for the first time, or they're so proud of themselves because they have taken the steps and the action to actually become the best version of themselves. Chapter 7's quote is by Marianne Williams. It's actually Williamson. Can't believe it's wrong here. Our deepest fear isn't that we are inadequate. It's that we are more powerful beyond measure. It is absolutely true. You have everything you need inside of you. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Sometimes we just don't know how. So that's why I wrote the book, because nobody told me all of these things that I could be doing, all of the ways that I can change my mindset, all of the ways that I could attain my goals. Nobody told me that I could become anything I wanted to be. I mean, it was said once in a while, but nobody really gave me the example. So we've gone over all of the steps, and once you commit to yourself, that is when you really change your trajectory. Okay. So this very last chapter goes into, you don't have to do it on your own, right? We have groups like this, You, Affirmations, and Positive Mindset. I really want to utilize the group more. I came up with some challenges that we're going to be doing to keep us involved and interactive so that we continue to build our relationships. Because even, the boys that are farther away, but all of the ladies that are really, really close, we can lean on each other and help each other, because it's important. There's actually, I don't know what the exact verse is in the Bible, but I heard it first from Coach, and it says, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper who is right for him." So when we're left to our own devices, we falter. Grant Cardone says white space is the devil's playground on your calendar. If you have white space and you're not being intentional on what you're doing, you have time to falter. You have time to veer off into things that you don't necessarily want to do. So if you can fill your calendar intentionally for the whole day, even if, like, say you have a 9 to 5, even if you have a 9 to 5, I tell this to my team. When you come into the restaurant, I say, have an intention. Say you're going to change one person's day by doing this. You're going to help a team member by doing this. Just because you have a 9 to 5 doesn't mean that you have to do or be subject to only that. You can set your intentions for your growth during that time just the same. You just have to be a little creative, and you have to look at where you want to go. And beginning, middle, and there's never an end. There's a milestone, right? You get to certain levels. There's never really an end to me, because I'll always want to keep going. I'll always want to grow. The word complacency, the word, content, don't really like those words. I can be happy, and I can feel achieved, and I can feel accomplished for the things that I've done, but it doesn't mean I'm done. I feel like I'm in a really pivotal point in my life where I'm still grinding, like in the restaurant, but I'm also building this next chapter of my life. I really feel like self-development has a passion inside of me that I want to continue and I want to grow. And so I'll be offering some new things this year. Starts with my Consistency Maker Planner. It's the intentional planner. I intentionally did that. The vocabulary, when your vocabulary changes, you think of things differently, right? When you change what you think, it changes how you think. You won't think of the busy time. I don't even like the word busy anymore. I try not to use it as much as possible. And I will catch myself if I say, oh, I'm too busy. I'm like, nope, I'm not too busy, because I get to choose what I put on my plate. I'm intentional, because if we're busy, we're just doing to do. If we're intentional, we're accomplishing something. We're doing it for a reason. Busyness is just that. It's just space. It's just taking up space. It's not doing anything. So these are some of the words. When you feel stuck, reference them and begin to notice the power that they truly have. When you change what you think, use these words: decide, courage, routine, consistency, discipline, grit, confidence, and change. Those are all key words throughout the whole entire book that help us get to this next stage. So anything that you are doubting, or you need to, or that you catch, right? When you catch yourself doing it, like the word busy for me, I changed it to intentional. When you are doing the work and being self-aware on this journey, you catch them and you change them, because you're changing what you're thinking. You're building those habits to keep you going. So it's a huge shift. And I use the word paradigm in this because it was a new word for me at the time. And it was kind of crazy, because I was like, I don't really get it. I don't really get the paradigm. The paradigm is something that, it's like a pendulum that swings, right? You're going into the next thing. You're going into this next, I'll call it like a time warp. You're going into this next journey. So that's the shift. That's the paradigm. You're not being the old version of you. You're using all of these tools that we just went through in this book, making the habits and practices to become consistent. That's the paradigm shift. So you're leaving all of the old habits and you're creating new ones. So seeking the knowledge to grow is one of the most fulfilling parts of the journey. So never stop growing. And at the end, I say the hard part is doing it, but we both know that you can do hard things. Congratulations, your journey has just begun. See that? I didn't cry. When I was reading these last two chapters, I was like, wow. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm proud of all of you for showing up and doing this with me. I would love to hear your biggest takeaway, the one thing that really changed for you during these 5 weeks. Honestly, I'm just going to let it sit there. I want to hear something, the biggest thing that you changed during this 5 weeks. Anybody?
This is Cheryl.
Hi.
Hi. I'm driving, but I'm driving safely. I just want to say that for me, the biggest thing is I've always been like, yeah, you just got to do it. Get your big girl pants on. Do what you got to do. But this really reinforced in that I can make time for myself, and I can make time for all of the things I want to do.
I love it. And can I ask you, like, what it is? Like, give me an example of what you want to do.
Say again, because my phone when it.
That's okay. So
yeah.
Can you give me an example of one of the things that you wanted to do and that you did it?
Taking the classes at SRJC was one of the ones that I was fumbling with.
And I kind of started it before, but I had the out of I could always drop if it got to be too much. And it was getting to be too much. And actually, while I was on the cruise, I had to just blow off one class homework. And but that's okay, because I'm still going to learn the material, and that is my point. That's my goal. My goal isn't to get A's. I know I can do that any day of the week. So yeah, and I'm still doing it. So, and actually the other class that I'm taking, I couldn't, on the ship, they had computers, but they didn't have any like Word. So I couldn't do my homework because all I had was my iPad.
Yeah.
So I did it in notes and for my business English class. And I sent her an email and said, I can't post this, but this is my homework. And I hope you'll look at it and, you know, give me some credit for doing it. And so she wrote back to me and said, I'm printing it out and I'll grade it based on this. And thank you for letting me know. And thank you for thinking outside the box.
That's the key. If you've got the want to, you'll find the how to. It didn't have to be perfect, but you did it anyway. And that's the key. That's a great win, Cheryl. That's really great. And you're doing amazing. I'm proud of you. And she took time. She took that cruise. She hadn't been on a cruise and I forget how many years you said, but I'm proud of you for doing that too. We all need the reset. We all need to take time for ourselves.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you. And I am proud of you.
Thank you. One other big takeaway. What was one big change during this time?
I think my biggest change was my consistency with a positive mindset.
That's good. That's good.
Because, yeah.
And so when you say that, like, how did you do it? What were the things that you did? Like, how did you train it? How did you do that? Sorry, Myra's myself.
I just, you look great. I always had it in my head, you know, like I always had negative talk back, mostly because I had a lot of negative talk back around me in like real life. And so I shut all that out and I turned all my like cans into cans basically. And I was like, you know, F this, I'm going to do this. And anytime I caught myself being like, oh, you know, like, nope, snap right back into it. You know, I will do this. I can do this. It's going to be great. Instead of that like doom and gloom mindset of like, oh, when's the next shoe going to drop? Like, well, you know, shit happens. Get through it.
Nothing's perfect.
But, you know, like, stuff happens, you got to get through it. Tomorrow's another day. You know, the next minute's another minute. Doesn't need to, you know, and even that, like even the little things, like, you know, kind of like don't let the spilt milk like spoil your day. You know, it's not that big a deal in the whole scheme of things. So yeah, just I think my biggest thing really is like I was like trying to figure it out, and I'm like, you know what, it's truly the consistency and a positive mindset, which is huge for me. It is. So, and like consistency in my just everything, waking up at 6 o'clock every day, no matter what I've been doing. And I'm tired. Like my body is wrecked. I have been working a ton to afford this move. And like 3 weeks ago, I didn't know we were moving. And I worked enough to afford to move without anything saved. Hustled my way to do that in 3 weeks, or actually less. And I, you know, did everything I needed to do to get us in here and get us out of the other place. we had a situation with the landlord and the property management company with mold and unfixed maintenance issues and leaks. And, you know, I could have gone the route of definitely suing them. But I just said, you know, give us our rent back for February, waive our 30 days, and give us our deposit back. We've been here for 10 years. You shouldn't be charging us for anything anyways. The house actually is really nice, in good shape for what it is, other than the things that they neglected to take care of, because I can't cite a rental.
Well, and it's funny too, because mindset wise, just for you, right, going through this, and the fact that you made the decision and said, nope, I'm not going to live like this anymore. And then you said, it's already mine. She posted the picture of the place and she said, pray for me, good thoughts, all those things. And we said, it's already yours. It's already yours. And so that's huge. That's really, really big. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Who else has a big one? Like, what was their big moment? Doesn't have to be big, but you know, your big moment. Are you looking for it, Julie?
Yeah, my thing was confidence, lacking confidence, and with the affirmations and the consistency of that, it helped me give that moving forward into a new position, a new space, putting together, you know, my work lab. So many things wrong, but instead of going and throwing my hands up, it was, I can do this. I can do hard things. I can find these parts that nobody else can find. So yeah, that was my big takeaway and help.
Good.
So I'm going to go back through the book and do it again.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. And, you know, a good friend of mine said he'd read it 7 times. And he said that, you know, every time you'll get a different answer. You know, the questions, you change where you're at in life, and then the circumstances change. And then it's actually really cool how it happens, and that it's usable anytime. You know, 6 months from now, it'll be different again, right? For wherever you are in your life. So Lorraine, are you having a moment? She's having a moment. She's so cute.
I'm totally having a moment. I'm in here being like, oh my God, how exciting. Like, I can't believe my beautiful friend is the one that wrote this book that people are now reading 7 times, and they get something new from it each time. I'm just so proud of you. And I just think you're so kick-ass, and I'm just so grateful for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. But you all are doing amazing things. And that is the big thing. You know, I want you to know, yes, you can. So wait, don't go anywhere. I want you to give your moment. I want you to give what was the one thing that really changed for you?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this question. But and it's such a common theme with me. It's always sleeping, right? I am enjoying my earlier mornings with my kids and just all of us being together because they're ready to go. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking this. I have a cup that says that the kids got me. I think Sophia got it for me. That said, this girl loves sleep. And I was like, I should really throw that cup away.
You can like it. You can love sleep. Why not?
But
I'm the most forceful servers of you.
Kind of realizing that like the time isn't to sleep in the morning, the time is to sleep at night. Like at 9, you know, no later than 10:30. Like don't waste the better part of your day. And when I do that, that's when I wake up. Sometimes I wake up for swimming without an alarm clock. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it's like when I do the right things, it actually comes a lot easier if I just decide to do the right things.
Decisions.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. This girl and I have been, I think I told the story, but it's been like 7-8 years, but I've seen the consistency of, so I'm super proud of you.
Like 9 years.
9 years. 9 years. So I'm really, really proud of you. It takes a lot to commit to do it. Boys, do you want to share one thing during this time that you really were like, okay, this changed, and it was like your aha?
Yeah, I'll go, Sin. So I'm obviously, I'm in a lot of these mastermind communities and everything, but it's just great to get, the female perspective of energy, because I'm in like these, everyone's like, oh, like do this, grit, grind, all these things. And then to have you as a sounding board, it's actually, allowed me to get in, show that vulnerability in a more honest way. And so it's like, and then a lot of the things that, since we're in alignment with a lot of the similar mentors, things like that, Coach Burt talks about discipline and consistency all the time, and things like that. It's still showing up, because even though I know a lot of the principles, because I've read your book, a couple of times, it's different when you're starting to receive it at a different frequency, because like I wasn't able to hear those things before. Great. And so as you start to grow, you start to see things, you're like, wow, why does this hit so different from the first time I did it? Because maybe I wasn't ready to receive it. So now that I put in that work, and like obviously the conversation that we had, that it's I am where I am, right? So in essence, it's like, just putting in the work, doing it with love, doing it with faith, putting my soul in everything that I'm doing, and knowing that my 2 feet are on the ground. I think that's like the biggest thing that's allowed me, whether everything works out or it doesn't, as long as I put my best foot forward, right? That's all we can ask for. Right. And so, that's those main things. And obviously I appreciate you. Got nothing but love for what you do. And just appreciate you taking that time, because I know that, time is of the essence, and it's valuable. And so when you are able to kind of just do what you're doing, to take this time out to get all of us together like this, right? Those little things. And the only thing that we can do to show you that it was, that your time was worth it and everything, is to pay it forward and, kind of be that spark for someone else as well. Exactly. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. And you said something really, really important. Receive it. It's something I learned after I wrote the book. I didn't really understand how our frequency works, right? So Andrea with your positivity, Julie with your confidence, Loran with your consistency, Osbert, just the fact that you say my 2 feet on the ground, right? My best foot forward with heart. Heart work is the hard work. In all honesty, that's going to be my next book. It's all about the heart. I've learned how important it is. And we talked about it in one of the other chapters. I can't remember what chapter. But your heart dictates what your head thinks. And it's an interesting paradigm when you learn that, because you totally shift how you do things. When you change what you think, it changes how you think. And when you're doing it from the heart, it's so different. If you're just doing it to do it, it's one thing. But once you get in to your heart and why you do it, then it really comes into full view, right? And you're really seeing some differences. And Osbert, I love you. And I really think that that's where you're at, which is awesome. And it's a process though. You've got to get through those other things in order to get down in there. And so the receiving aspect, just that word, that's something I will add. I should have, because I've learned it now, but in that list of words, receive is huge. When you are ready and open to receive those things, my heart bursts. Like my heart is so open to receive the things that I want. I'm still learning. There's still things in there that, I'm learning to help myself with, because it's always a growth process. There's always something to learn. Once I get to that next level, like you said, Osbert, it's all fundamentals, but you're looking at it differently, right? It's coming from a different place. So everybody on their journey is in a different place. So thank you for sharing. That was great. How about the other boys? Brian, I know you're on here. I appreciate you being on here 2 weeks. Ben.
I want to chime in real quick, because I gotta bounce out and get over to this repair done.
Yes.
So I kind of want to echo a lot of what Osbert was saying, because that was kind of one of those things where I was feeling a little bit kind of like a lost boat out in the sea kind of a thing. And it was kind of nice to have a lighthouse, Cynthia, you come along to kind of guide me back into that shore, because there's a time where I thought, well, you know what, I've been doing this long enough, I should know what I'm doing. But then there's those times when you get into that deep water where you still need a guiding light to kind of keep you back and keep your sails moving in the right direction. And I feel like that is getting grounded and getting your feet back on the ground again, and not getting so thrown about by the waves, if you will. So that's kind of what I picked up out of this, because it was nice to get rerouted into a group, to be able to instead of feeling like my eyes are going 360 degrees, I finally got a little bit more focal point in front of me, instead of trying to go left, right, up, back, forward, back, some weird combination of not keeping my sights going forward instead of just kind of flying everywhere. So,
good.
So I think the 2 feet on the ground thing is definitely a big one for me.
So if I could just ask, I had asked, what was the moment? Like when was it during this time where you were like, okay, I know the intent when you signed up for it, right? You're like, okay, I want to do this. But what was there a moment during these 5 weeks?
For me, it was week 2. Because how can I describe this? Because it was being in a group of people who I could feel a lot of I really can't describe it, because I'm trying not to rush, but I feel like I'm rushing. But it's that moment when you feel like you're in a group that not only is new and fresh, but it's also that there's experience there to glean from other people. It's being able to see different perspectives, and then to be able to fit in a group, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I explained that well enough. So
it does make sense. And it's absolutely true, right? No matter what stage of the game you're in, if you're open to receiving it, you can glean guidance from and learning from anything. Honestly, you can. And that's why, Dougie V, he's a big proponent in that. He's constantly learning. He supported and encouraged me in so many ways. And I appreciate you, Ben, for being consistent. And I know that it's hard, because we do think of that sometimes. Like, we've been doing it for 3 years, and why, the question is, why are we, either back at this point or lost our way? And so I appreciate that, because it happens. It's life. That's what happens. And that's why we're in groups like this, so that we can help support each other and do those things and guide, right, each other. Just, I'm here for you. I'm your CEO. You need a kick in the ass, I'll give you one. A lot of times it's just the reminder to do it, right? We get caught up in that hamster wheel. So I'm happy to do that for you. I wanted everybody to give an example and talk it out. David, we saved the best for last. You've been here for 3 of the 5, but I know you've read the book. So give me something this last time that you've learned. If you had an aha moment, I want to talk it out, because it's really important that when you get to express it, you also learn from it.
Well, the last 3 weeks, I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it because it brings your book to life. It actually puts feeling and puts intention and puts focus on the main points of the book. And it's like Osbert said, it's with, he said something about the it don't hit you until you're ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what really got to me the last 3 weeks I've been in here, because the first couple of weeks I couldn't make it because I was on different things.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I've always appreciated everything that you do.
Thank you.
You've always been my shining light.
Thank you. I want to take a minute and encourage David. So David, I'm going to share, okay? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. He is looking for a job. So I gave him a task, and I'm going to ask you because I don't know the answer, but we talked about it, and he found 10 jobs that he could apply for, or close to it. I asked for 10. So you started a resume, right?
Started, yes.
Okay. And so how did we end up? Where are we at right now?
Same place the last time I talked to you.
So you had the 10 prospects or 9, and you have half a resume.
I've started a resume. I still haven't figured out how to write it yet. But I also talked myself out of the 10 jobs because I was talking to Osbert yesterday, and he gave me another job way to do it.
Idea.
And that might, he said maybe drive with Uber or Lyft or something like that. And that keeps my time open where I can still do what I want to do. And then make a little bit of cash on the side too.
It's a great idea.
And kind of like that, because that way, if I really have to go someplace important or something like that, I can just turn it off and go.
That's right. That's a great idea.
There's no set time there. Just when you're ready, you turn it on. When you're not ready, turn it off.
That's right. It's a great idea, Osbert. See? A community. It's true. Somebody will have an idea that I didn't have, that Osbert didn't have, and so we keep it going. And that's why we create the communities that we have, because I don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers, but somebody else has a different viewpoint. So that's a great idea. So what are you going to do to set that in motion? How are we gonna help you support you to do that?
Well, I was trying to dig into it last night after we had our phone call.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really totally there yet, but I got to investigate it more and see what it takes to do it.
Okay, so how do we get things done? You got to put a date on it. So by Friday, how about that? You have all week. By Friday, you will have applied. From what I understand, it doesn't take that much. You have to have a good car. They have to inspect your car, right?
Just do it. You're spending so much time thinking about it. You're losing time. And it's a really good idea. And if you don't, I'm not going to do that. Just try it. Just go for it. Nothing is set in stone. This isn't going to decide the rest of your life. You already have the points why it's a good idea for you. I know people who do it. They love it.
Good.
I see you. Just go for it.
Thank you.
Sorry, my kids are yelling.
And brother, I couldn't hold back on that. David, I got nothing but love for you, man. So I was just saying, because you support these communities and you've invested at this point probably close to 6 figures in your own personal development. Look at that as a way to create those conversations with others, business professionals. You might be picking people from the airport and just allowing them to see who you are. And it'll just get you out of your shell, because you're going to be able, because you love on people so hard. I want you to start loving yourself the way you love us. And that's that
so
good.
So good. You should write that down. That's a great affirmation.
Thank you, Albert.
I'm writing it down. So we're all going to check in on you on Friday.
Mm.
So this is two things we're setting, right? We're setting the goal Friday. We're going to give support, right? David.
Yes.
You have the confidence, right? You have the confidence to do this, right? It's perfect for you. It is perfect. The points Osbert said, yes, it is perfect for you. You get to turn it off when you want to. You can travel when you want to. You can make money when you want to. You have so many experiences that you can talk to anybody, right? You can, here's the funny thing. You could be somebody else. Nobody knows you when they get in your Uber.
No.
You could be the most confident, driven entrepreneur, and you're just doing this to meet people. That's it. You're just doing it to meet people. You need a little, engagement. It's easy. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's perfect for you. It's perfect for you. Kind of bummed I didn't think of it. It's perfect for you. Perfect.
Yeah.
The airport one is actually a good one. How far away from the airport are you?
Hour.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like good drive time. Like you could hang out at the airport and drive them home, right?
Right.
Because that's where like they pick you up from proximity, I think, right?
Yeah, there's two airports. One about a half hour from me, 45 minutes, and the other one's about hour 15 minutes, something like that.
That's perfect. So your first objective is signing up and getting it done by Friday. Then we're going to talk about how many drives you want to do per week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is part of it. So this is the group and the support. So we're here to support you, David. Okay. I want you to post in the group when you did it. I'll check on you. You can't get rid of me. Oh.
You can't get rid of me either, darling.
Loran. Yeah, you can't get rid of me. Once I'm in, you guys, you're done. That's just the way it goes.
It's so true.
I know. Once I'm in, that's it. Sorry. I like it. I really need to give Ben more props because the CEO for me is like nailed it. So in any case, there'll be more things. So for those of you, I didn't finish. For those of you who did the full 5 weeks, you all get the Consistency Maker Journal. This close to being done. This close to being done. I promise I have all of your names and you will get it. Okay. Then what I would like to ask of you, and I should have done it when everybody was on here, but if you know somebody, right, who needs a little, hi, Cheryl, if you need a little kick in the ass, if they need a support system, offer the community, offer the Facebook group. It's a good way to start just to get involved, to see what's happening. Sometimes it scares people and they don't want to reach out. So if they're just there and they're seeing what's happening, then it gives them a little more inclination to get involved. So I will be doing more things in the group. I have a list of things that are coming up. The Joy Challenge was really good. The I Am Challenge for affirmations was really good that we did last year. So I'm going to start cycling them through. And I think the first one is going to be affirmations because it is near and dear to my heart. It is exactly the first thing that I started with, which really started my journey for self-development. So I would like a quick pick. I don't have everybody, but that's okay. If you have your book, fabulous. This is it, the last week. Where did Andrea go? Gosh.
Sorry, no book.
That's okay. Just smile for us. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, here she comes. Dang it. Oh, look how cute you guys are. Andrea, I'm waiting for you. So cute. I was waiting for you. What happened? Hey, book. Do you have your book? Oh, it's in a box. It's okay. Smile. Yes. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I really appreciate you all, and you're all doing fan-fucking-tastic.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Sorry, my phone died real quick. And yeah, actually, I had my book, and you know what I did? I took it out yesterday at work.
Yeah.
And it's on my desk at my office.
It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate you all very, very much.
Thank you.
You would like to do a takeaway in the group, that would be very much appreciated, just to show people. I think I'm going to do book club twice a year. I think I'm going to do it twice a year. There are some people who asked to be in it and they couldn't be in it. And I got some really good feedback, and I appreciate all of the feedback that you have given me. And I think that it is definitely something that I will continue. So thank you for being the first book club. You guys are freaking awesome. Yay! You guys are great. Enjoy your day. And thank you again. I'm super grateful for you all. Thank you.
Thank you. We're grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you guys.